Marcus Chen took a deep breath as he walked toward the massive crystal building that housed the Galactic Council. The morning light of Proxima Centauri made the tall towers shine in many colors. He straightened his blue diplomatic uniform and checked that his Earth badge was clean and straight. First day representing all of humanity, he whispered to himself. No pressure. Marcus was the first human ever chosen to speak for Earth at the Council, where 300 alien species made decisions about the galaxy. Many of those species had been traveling between stars for thousands of years. Humans had only figured out faster-than-light travel about a century ago. To most council members, humans were just newcomers who didn't deserve much attention. What none of the aliens knew was that Ambassador Marcus Chen had another life before becoming a diplomat. For 20 years he had served in Earth's Special Forces, leading the famous Ghost Squadron through 17 dangerous missions during the Mars insurgency. His military file was top secret. The scars on his body were hidden under his formal clothes. The small implants in his brain that helped him think and react faster than normal humans couldn't be detected by the Council's security scanners. Two tall, blue-skinned Vrexian guards stood at the entrance to the Council building. They had 4 arms each, and all 4 held different security devices. Their red eyes narrowed as Marcus approached. "Human representative," one said through a translator. "Submit to full security scan." Marcus smiled politely and spread his arms. Of course, security is important for everyone's safety. The guards passed their devices over him while a beam of yellow light moved from his head to his feet. Marcus knew their scanners would find nothing unusual. Earth's science team had made sure his implants were undetectable. They would see only what they expected. A soft human diplomat with no weapons or dangerous items. "You may proceed," the guard said after a minute, sounding slightly disappointed. As Marcus walked through the grand entrance hall, he noticed many alien representatives turning to look at him. Some showed curiosity, others showed clear dislike. The Thorans, a reptilian species with scales that shifted between dark green and black, simply turned their backs when he passed. For 6 months, Marcus had worked through proper channels, talking with friendlier species and slowly building support for today's historic vote. If things went well, Earth would move from observer status to full council membership. This would give humans protection under galactic law and access to advanced technologies that could solve many problems back home. An 8-legged guide creature approached him. "Ambassador Chen, the council session begins in 20 minutes. Would you like to refresh yourself before the meeting?" "Yes, thank you," Marcus replied. The guide led him to a preparation room designed for oxygen-breathing species. Inside, Marcus checked his appearance in a mirror and then pulled out a small device to scan for listening devices. Old habits from his military days died hard. Finding nothing suspicious, he sat down and reviewed his notes one last time. His personal communication device buzzed. It was a message from Admiral Helena Shaw, his former commanding officer, and the person who had recommended him for this diplomatic position. "Remember your training, Marcus," the message read. "Both kinds of training. Keep Earth safe." He smiled slightly. Helena was one of the few people who knew his full background. She had argued that the best diplomat for humanity's first council position would be someone who could handle themselves if things went wrong. The civilian diplomatic corps had disagreed, but the Global Security Council had overruled them. A chime sounded, indicating 5 minutes until the session. Marcus put away his notes and straightened his posture. 20 years of military discipline had taught him to appear calm even when nervous. 6 years of diplomatic training had taught him how to turn that calmness into a tool for negotiation. As he walked toward the main council chamber, he passed a group of Thoran representatives. They were speaking in their own language, not realizing that part of Marcus's military training had included learning several alien languages. Most diplomats relied completely on translator devices. "The human will not reach the voting stage," one Thoran said quietly to another. "Supreme Counselor Drax Vuri has made arrangements." Marcus kept walking without changing his pace or expression, but his mind was racing. Arrangements could mean many things, none of them good. He quickly considered his options. He could report what he'd heard, but to whom? Many council security officers were Thorans themselves. He could postpone the vote, but that might cost Earth its best chance at membership for years. Or he could proceed as planned, but be ready for trouble. The massive doors to the council chamber slid open silently. Inside, tiered seating rose in a complete circle around a central speaking platform. Nearly 1,000 representatives from hundreds of worlds sat in their designated sections. The human section was small, just 3 seats, 1 for Marcus and 2 for his assistants who were following behind him. "Remember why you're here?" Marcus thought to himself as he walked to his place. "You're a diplomat now. Use words first, but be ready if words fail." He took his seat as the chamber lights dimmed slightly. The Grand Arbiter, a tall being made of what looked like flowing silver liquid contained in a transparent body-shaped field, floated to the center platform. "This council session is now in progress," the Arbiter announced, its voice translated simultaneously into hundreds of languages. "Today's primary agenda: consideration of full membership status for species designation human from the planet Earth, Sol system, Orion spiral arm." Marcus noticed several Thoran representatives moving to different positions around the chamber. Something was definitely not right. His hand moved slightly, activating the emergency signal built into his uniform's sleeve. If he didn't check in with Earth security every 30 minutes, they would know something had gone wrong. He took a deep breath and prepared to speak for humanity before the Galactic Council. Whatever the Thorans had planned, he would be ready. They thought they were dealing with just a diplomat. They had no idea what Marcus Chen had been before he wore this uniform. The council session was about to begin, and with it, humanity's future among the stars hung in the balance. Marcus Chen stood tall as the council session began. Hundreds of alien representatives from across the galaxy watched as he prepared to speak for Earth. The huge chamber hummed with the quiet sounds of translator devices and life support systems for the many different species present. "Representatives of the Galactic Council," Marcus began, his voice clear and strong. "Humanity thanks you for considering our application for full membership. For 100 years we have observed your customs, followed your laws, and contributed to galactic peace. Today, we ask to join you as equals." Several species made sounds of approval. The jellyfish-like Medusans pulsed with bright blue light, which Marcus knew was their way of showing support. But the reptilian Thorans remained still, their scales now a deep black color that usually meant anger or focus. Supreme Counselor Drax Vuri of the Thoran Empire rose from his seat. His long, scaled neck extended to its full height as he looked down at Marcus. "The human speaks of peace and equality," Drax Vuri said, his forked tongue flicking between words. "Yet their history is filled with war. They fight among themselves for resources, land, and power. How can we trust such a species with the advanced technologies that come with full membership?" Marcus had expected this argument. "Counselor, every species in this chamber has a history of conflict. The Thorans themselves fought 3 civil wars before achieving unity. What matters is not our past, but our present choices and future goals." Murmurs of agreement spread through the chamber. Marcus could see he was winning support. That's when he noticed Thoran guards moving quietly toward control panels around the room. Something was about to happen. Without warning, all lights in the chamber went out. Complete darkness fell for 3 seconds. Then, emergency lights came on, casting everything in a dim red glow. At the same moment, heavy security shields slammed down, separating the different sections of the chamber. "Security breach. All representatives remain in place," announced an automated system. Marcus knew better. This was no security breach, it was the beginning of an attack. He felt a strange vibration in the air and recognized it immediately. The Thorans had activated quantum dampening fields, technology that was specifically designed to block the neural implants that many humans used for communication and enhanced thinking. "The human infection ends before it spreads further into our galaxy," hissed Supreme Counselor Drax Vuri, speaking in the Thoran language. His voice bypassed the Council's translation systems, but Marcus understood every word thanks to his military training. "Their diplomatic status dies with their representative." In the dim red light, Marcus saw a dozen shapes appearing around. Him. Thorin elite guards were materializing from hidden chambers, using phase displacement technology that made them nearly invisible until the last moment. They surrounded Marcus and his two assistants, cutting them off from potential allies. "Ambassador Chen!" cried his assistant Sophia as two Thorins grabbed her arms. "Stay calm," Marcus ordered, his mind shifting quickly from diplomat to soldier. He knew the Thorins wouldn't kill his assistants immediately. They would want to question them first. The lead Thorin guard approached Marcus with an energy blade glowing green in the dim light. "The Council has tolerated humans for too long," he growled. "Your membership request is denied. Permanently." He lunged forward with the blade aimed at Marcus's heart. To any normal diplomat, this would have meant certain death. But Marcus Chen was no normal diplomat. His body reacted with muscle memory from thousands of hours of combat training. He stepped sideways, the blade missing him by centimeters. The special material in his diplomatic uniform, a safety feature, insisted upon by Earth security team, hardened instantly where the energy blade brushed against it. The Thorin guard looked surprised. Before he could react, Marcus grabbed his wrist and applied precise pressure to a nerve point that worked on most reptilian species. The guard dropped the energy blade with a hiss of pain. In the darkness and confusion, Marcus moved with deadly efficiency. 7 years as a diplomat had not erased 20 years of special forces training. His enhanced reflexes, trained and then further improved by his hidden neural implants, allowed him to see and react faster than the Thorins expected. He struck the second guard with a palm strike to the throat, careful to use enough force to disable but not kill. A third guard fired a stun weapon, but Marcus ducked and the shot hit another Thorin instead. "They said the human would be defenseless," shouted one of the guards. "Restrain him." "Use maximum force," ordered another. 3 guards attacked Marcus at once. He picked up a fallen energy blade and used it to deflect their weapons. The blade felt different from the combat knives he had trained with, but the principles were the same. Keep moving. Control the space. Create confusion among multiple attackers. Marcus noticed his assistant Sophia had freed herself and was trying to reach an emergency communication panel. "Sophia, tell them we need help," he shouted while blocking another attack. Across the chamber, other council representatives were watching in shock. The Thorins had planned this attack carefully, but they hadn't expected the human diplomat to fight back so effectively. "This is an unlawful attack on an official representative," shouted the Medusan delegate, its body flashing angry red patterns. "The council must intervene." But the security shields prevented anyone from helping. Marcus was on his own, facing 9 remaining Thorin guards. They circled him cautiously now, realizing this was no ordinary diplomat. "You have violated the sacred peace of the council chamber," Marcus said loudly, wanting all representatives to hear. "Earth came seeking friendship, and you responded with violence. The council will judge your actions harshly." The lead Thorin hissed in anger and signaled for all guards to attack at once. Marcus took a deep breath, centering himself as he had been taught in combat training. Time seemed to slow down as his implants and training worked together, calculating angles and movements. As the Thorins rushed forward, Marcus moved like water between them, using their own momentum against them. One by one, they fell to precise strikes or crashed into each other. He was careful not to kill any of them. A diplomatic incident was bad enough without adding Thorin deaths. In less than a minute, all 12 Thorin elite guards lay unconscious or disabled on the chamber floor. Marcus stood in the center, breathing slightly harder than normal but otherwise appearing calm. He straightened his tie and picked up his diplomatic folder that had fallen during the fight. The chamber was completely silent as Marcus turned to face Supreme Counselor Draxivori, who was staring in shock from his elevated position. "I believe we were discussing Earth's application for membership," Marcus said calmly. "Unless there are further objections, I suggest we proceed with the vote." The security shield suddenly retracted as council security officers from neutral species entered the chamber. The lights returned to normal brightness, revealing the full scene to everyone present. Marcus Chen, human diplomat, standing tall amidst 12 defeated Thoran elite warriors. The Galactic Council had never seen anything like it. News of what happened in the council chamber spread faster than anyone expected. Within hours, the security footage from the chamber was playing on the Galactic Newsnet, broadcasting across 17 star systems. Billions of beings from hundreds of species watched as a single human diplomat defeated 12 armed Thoran elite guards without killing any of them. The footage ended with Marcus Chen straightening his tie, blue Thoran blood on his knuckles, calmly asking to continue the membership vote. It was an image that would change how the galaxy viewed humans forever. In an emergency session called immediately after the incident, Marcus stood at the center of the council chamber. The Thoran attackers had been taken away, and Supreme Counselor Draxvuri was notably absent. Honored representatives, Marcus said, his voice steady and diplomatic despite what had just happened. I formally request that the Council recognize this unprovoked attack as a violation of Galactic Charter Section 5, Paragraph 3, which guarantees the safety of all diplomatic representatives. The Grand Arbiter, its silver form flowing with agitation, spoke first. This council has existed for 50,000 years. Never before has any representative been attacked during a formal session. This is unprecedented. And never before has a representative defended himself so effectively, added the Medusan delegate, its tentacles glowing with blue patterns of respect. The human showed remarkable restraint by not killing his attackers. The chamber erupted in voices, some demanding the immediate expulsion of all Thoran representatives, others questioning how a diplomat could possess such combat skills. The different species were divided, confused and fascinated all at once. A holographic image of Draxvuri appeared in the chamber. Though arrested, he had been granted the right to speak. The human is not what he appears, the Thoran insisted, his scales dark with anger. No diplomat fights like that. He is a weapon disguised as a representative. This proves humans cannot be trusted. Marcus took a deep breath. This was a critical moment for Earth's future in the galactic community. He could deny everything, claim he had just been lucky, or he could be honest. He chose honesty. Representatives of the Council, he began. Before I became Earth's diplomat, I served as a Special Forces soldier. Many of us from Earth have multiple careers in our lives. I was trained to protect others, and today, those skills helped me protect myself and my assistants when diplomatic words failed. Murmurs filled the chamber as translation devices shared his words in hundreds of languages. But notice what I did not do, Marcus continued. I did not kill any attackers. I did not carry weapons into this chamber. I came seeking peace, prepared for trouble only because history has taught us to be cautious. Is that not wisdom rather than deception? The Medusan representative's tentacles flashed with patterns indicating agreement. The human speaks truth. Many of our own representatives have previous lives and careers. What matters is how they behave, now in their current role. For the next 2 hours, the council debated what had happened. Marcus stood calmly in the center, answering questions honestly but carefully. He explained that Earth had chosen him partly because the journey to Proxima Centauri was dangerous, and a representative with both diplomatic and defensive skills made sense for a first contact. We did not expect to be attacked in the council chamber itself, he added, but we prepared for all possibilities. By the end of the session, the council had reached several decisions. The Thoran Empire would be suspended from council activities for 1 full cycle, equivalent to an Earth year, pending investigation. Supreme Counselor Draxvuri would face criminal charges for orchestrating the attack. The vote on Earth's membership would be postponed for 3 days to allow representatives to consult with their home worlds. As Marcus left the chamber, many representatives approached him with new respect in their eyes or gestures. The Arcosian delegate, a being made of living crystal, bowed their faceted head. Perhaps we misjudged your species, they said in a voice like chiming bells. You are more complex than we realized. Back in his private diplomatic quarters, Marcus finally allowed himself to relax. His body ached from the fight, even with his enhanced physical conditioning. He checked his assistants were unharmed and then secured the room before activating his encrypted communication system. A holographic image of Admiral Helena Shaw appeared, her stern face breaking into a rare smile when she saw him. "You've become quite the celebrity, Ambassador," she said, showing him viewing statistics from across the galaxy. "Not exactly the diplomatic approach we discussed." Marcus chuckled, wincing slightly from a bruised rib. "The Thorans didn't leave me much choice, but I think it worked out better than we could have planned. The footage is changing how they see us." "The analytics confirm it," Helena replied, showing him a graph of interspecies reaction data. "For the past century, most species have kept us at a distance out of fear of our potential for violence. Now they're curious about our potential for restraint." She scrolled through more data. "The fact that you could have killed those guards but chose not to has impressed many of the older species. They've seen plenty of violent races, but few that can control their violence so precisely." Marcus nodded, reviewing the diplomatic messages, already flooding in. Many representatives who had been neutral or slightly negative about Earth's membership were now requesting private meetings with him. "What do our leaders say?" he asked. "They're split," Helena admitted. "Some think you revealed too much about our capabilities. Others believe this will advance our position by decades. The Global Security Council is meeting now to discuss next steps." Marcus looked out the window at the alien stars. "For better or worse, the galaxy now knows that humans are not just talkers. We can fight when necessary, but we prefer not to." "That's actually a pretty accurate picture of who we are." Helena nodded. "Get some rest, Marcus. Tomorrow we'll be busy. Every species in the council will want to meet the diplomat who fights like a warrior, but thinks like a peacemaker." After ending the call, Marcus stepped into the healing chamber that Earth's medical team had included in his quarters. As the blue light began to repair his minor injuries, he thought about the path ahead. The Thorans had tried to keep humans contained through fear and political games. Their attack had backfired completely, creating interest and respect instead. But Marcus sensed this was just the beginning. If some species feared humans enough to attack their diplomat, there might be deeper concerns at work. His diplomatic mission had just become much more complicated and much more important. The next few days would shape humanity's place among the stars for generations to come. The Great Hall glittered with lights as representatives from dozens of species gathered for the diplomatic reception. 3 days had passed since the attack, and tonight the council would vote on Earth's membership application. Marcus Chen entered the room in a fresh uniform, showing no signs of the fight that had made him famous across the galaxy. As he walked through the crowd, Marcus noticed how different the reactions were now. Species that had ignored humans before now moved closer, eager to speak with him. Others watched from a distance with what looked like concern, rather than the previous dislike. "Ambassador Chen," called a voice like rustling leaves. A tall, plant-based, Florian representative approached, extending a branch-like arm in greeting. "Your handling of the Thoran situation was most impressive. My species has voted to support Earth's membership." "Thank you, Representative," Marcus replied with a diplomatic smile. "Earth looks forward to learning from the Florians' ecological wisdom." For the next hour, Marcus moved through the reception, speaking with as many species as possible. He noted which ones seemed genuinely friendly, and which ones seemed to be studying him like a dangerous specimen. His military training had taught him to read body language across species, and something didn't feel right about some of the interactions. "Ambassador Chen," said a quiet voice behind him. "Might I have a private word?" Marcus turned to see Council Representative Tela Kavan of the Archivist species. The insect-like being's compound eyes reflected the room's lights in patterns that Marcus knew indicated seriousness. The Archivists were one of the oldest species in the Council, known for their vast knowledge and neutral stance in most disputes. "Of course, Representative Kavan," Marcus replied, following the archivist to a quiet corner of the hall. The archivist's mandibles clicked softly before speaking. "Ambassador Chen, my species has observed 97 civilizations rise and fall over millions of years. We've seen patterns repeat across time and space. Marcus listened carefully. The archivists rarely spoke directly about their knowledge of past civilizations. Your species concerns us, Kavan continued, not for your differences from other council members, but for your similarities to the precursors. Marcus kept his face neutral, but his mind raced. The precursors were a mysterious species that had apparently ruled the galaxy 1,000,000 years ago, before suddenly disappearing. Their ruins and technology were still occasionally discovered, often showing advanced capabilities that even current council species couldn't understand. In what way are we similar? Marcus asked carefully. Humans adapt too quickly, Kavan said, compound eyes fixed on Marcus. Your neural plasticity, your ability to change and learn, is remarkable. Combined with your capacity for both violence and cooperation, it creates concerning possibilities. Marcus understood now. This wasn't just about the Thorns fearing human competition. Some species feared humans might follow the path of the mysterious precursors. Is that why the Thorns attacked? Because of these similarities? The Thorns acted from simple fear and pride, Kavan replied. But others have deeper concerns. There is a coalition forming among several species who believe humans should be contained, not welcomed. And what do the archivists believe? Marcus asked. We believe in observation and knowledge. The patterns we've seen suggest that species with your characteristics can develop in many different directions. The question is, which path will humans choose? Marcus realized this conversation was possibly more important than the official vote. The archivists rarely took strong positions, but their opinions carried enormous weight with other species. Representative Kavan, Marcus said carefully. What appears as our capacity for violence is simply our capacity for survival. The same traits that concern you helped me survive the attack without killing a single assailant. Humans can be fierce when threatened, but prefer cooperation when possible. The reception hall had grown quieter, as more representatives noticed the human ambassador in deep conversation with an archivist. Marcus stood straighter and spoke louder, letting others hear. Humanity doesn't seek dominance. We seek partnership. Yes, we advance quickly, but we want to learn from species who have traveled the stars for thousands of years longer than we have. We will defend ourselves when necessary, but we will not be pushed away from our rightful place among the stars. The archivist's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of thoughtfulness. An interesting perspective, Ambassador. But words are easy. Actions reveal truth. Then judge us by our actions, Marcus replied. Judge me by what I did in the council chamber. I could have killed those attackers, but I chose restraint. That is the human way, capable of violence, but preferring peace. As Kavan moved away, other representatives approached Marcus. He could tell his words had affected many of them. The Medusan delegate pulsed with approval patterns, while even some previously hostile species seemed to be reconsidering their positions. However, Marcus also noticed representatives from 7 different species gathering in another corner, watching him with what his training told him was careful calculation rather than mere curiosity. He made mental notes of which species they were, information to share with Earth Command later. The Grand Arbiter floated into the center of the hall, its silvery form catching the light. Representatives, please proceed to the council chamber. The vote on Earth's membership will begin shortly. As the crowd moved toward the exit, Marcus felt a light touch on his shoulder. It was his assistant, Sophia. Ambassador, a message just came through on the emergency channel, she whispered. Earth's long-range sensors have detected unusual activity near 3 of our colony worlds. Ships of unknown origin are scanning our defenses. Marcus kept his expression neutral as they walked. Which species? The ships are using cloaking technology, but preliminary analysis suggests designs consistent with the Voth, Naxians, and Zealer, 3 of the species who were just meeting across the room. So it wasn't just talk, Marcus thought. While some species debated human membership openly, others were already assessing Earth's vulnerabilities. The coalition Kavan had mentioned was real and active. As they entered the Great Council chamber, Marcus made a quick decision. He couldn't mention the ships directly without revealing Earth's sensor capabilities, but he could use this knowledge. When it came his turn to make a final statement before the vote, Marcus stood tall at the center of the chamber. Honored representatives, today you vote not just on Earth's membership, but on what kind of galactic community we want to build together. One based on fear and suspicion, or one based on respect and cooperation. His eyes moved deliberately to each of the 7 species. He now suspected we're working against Earth. Some may fear what humans might become. Instead, I invite you to help shape what we will become. As full members of this council, humans will learn from your wisdom and experience. We will contribute our unique perspectives and abilities. Together we can be more than any of us could be alone. The chamber was silent as his words hung in the air. The vote was about to begin, and with it, the next chapter in humanity's journey among the stars. Marcus knew the real challenge was just beginning. Gaining membership was only the first step. Understanding and addressing why some species feared humans enough to form a secret coalition against them, that would be the true test of his skills as both a diplomat and a warrior. 3 days after Earth was granted full membership in the Galactic Council, Marcus Chen sat in his secure office reviewing disturbing information. Earth's intelligence services had intercepted fragmented communications suggesting a second plot against humans, one far more dangerous than the Thoran attack. The communications are heavily encrypted, explained Sophia, who had been Marcus's assistant, but was now revealed as an intelligence specialist. But we've managed to decode enough to know that it involves 7 species working together. Marcus studied the data on his screen. The same 7 species we noticed at the reception: the Voth, Naxians, Zelar, Quantari, Droll, Espers, and even the Signar. I'm surprised about the Signar. They've been friendly to humans until now. That's what makes this so concerning, Sophia replied. These species have never cooperated before. Some of them have been enemies for centuries. Whatever they're planning must be serious enough to overcome their historical differences. Marcus made a decision that his diplomatic handlers back on Earth would never have approved. I need to find out what they're planning, not through official channels. That would take too long and they would just deny everything. Sophia's eyes widened. You're not suggesting... Yes, I am, Marcus said, standing up. I'm going to use my old skills to infiltrate their meeting. Our intelligence suggests they're gathering tonight at the Quantari compound on the lower levels. Ambassador, that's extremely risky, Sophia protested. If you're caught, it could undo everything we've achieved, and the diplomatic fallout would be severe. If I don't go and they succeed with whatever they're planning, there might not be any humans left to face diplomatic problems, Marcus replied, grimly. This stays between us. As far as anyone else knows, I'm resting in my quarters tonight. After Sophia reluctantly left, Marcus opened a hidden compartment in his quarters. Inside was a small case containing equipment no diplomat should possess. Tools from his former life as a special forces operative. He selected only what he absolutely needed. A neural disruptor that could temporarily disable most security systems, a multispectrum visual enhancer, and a subdermal transmitter that would allow him to send data back to his secure system. As night fell over the council city, Marcus slipped away from his quarters, avoiding his regular security detail. He wore plain clothes that would blend in with the service workers who maintained the lower levels. His implants were set to maximum sensitivity, enhancing his awareness of his surroundings. The Quantari compound was located in a crystalline structure that extended deep underground. Unlike the Grand Council towers above, the lower levels were a maze of service corridors, maintenance areas, and less prestigious accommodations. Marcus moved through them confidently, his military training allowing him to avoid security cameras and patrols. Approaching the compound, he noted the unusual number of guards, representatives from all 7 suspected species. They were trying to appear casual, but Marcus recognized the formation of a serious security perimeter. Instead of attempting to breach the main entrance, Marcus accessed a maintenance shaft that his intelligence briefing had identified. It would lead him to an area near the central meeting room. He moved silently through the narrow passage, using his enhanced senses to detect any security measures. After 20 minutes of careful movement, Marcus positioned himself above a ventilation grate that overlooked a large circular chamber. Below him, representatives from the 7 species were gathered around a strange device that pulsed with an eerie blue light. Marcus activated his subdermal transmitter to record everything. "The calibration is complete," announced a Voth scientist, his scaled hands moving over the device. "The quantum resonator is aligned to target the specific genetic markers we identified." "And you're certain this will affect only humans?" asked a Signar representative, her crystalline body reflecting the blue light. "We cannot risk harming other species." "The genetic targeting is precise," the Voth confirmed. "When activated, the device will create a cascade effect that will spread through all known human settlements. Their neural patterns will be disrupted, rendering their implants useless and causing widespread system failures in their technology." Marcus felt a chill. This wasn't just an assassination attempt, it was preparation for genocide. The device was clearly based on ancient precursor technology, modified to target humans specifically. "We act out of necessity," said the Naxian delegate, its multiple eyes blinking in sequence. "Our archaeological data confirms the pattern. The humans share too many similarities with the precursors. They are not natural evolutionary products. They were engineered as weapons." The Zealer representative nodded. "The precursors created them, then abandoned them on Earth when the Great Collapse occurred. Now these weapons have rediscovered space. Travel and seek to join us. We cannot allow history to repeat itself." Marcus was stunned. These species believed humans were created by the precursors as biological weapons. That explained their fear. But it didn't justify genocide. "The council vote is irrelevant," continued the Droll representative. "By the time they realize what has happened, it will be too late. The humans will be contained on their homeworld, their technology crippled, their threat neutralized." As they discussed the final preparations, Marcus carefully documented everything. He needed to transmit this evidence to both Earth Command and to his allies on the Council. The conspirators included 2 high counselors, whose influence could bury any official investigation unless the evidence was overwhelming. Using the infiltration techniques that no official diplomat would know, Marcus copied the technical specifications of the device and recorded the conspirators clearly stating their intentions. He transmitted everything to his secure system, where it would be automatically forwarded to both Earth and to selected Council allies he had identified as trustworthy. Just as he was completing the transmission, a security alarm blared through the compound. "Intruder detected in Section 5, announced an automated system. "Unknown biosignature present." Marcus realized that the Quantari security system must have more advanced sensors than intelligence had indicated. They had detected his human biosignature despite his precautions. "It's a human," shouted the Voth scientist, looking up toward the ventilation system. "Secure the device. Activate all defenses." Guards rushed into the chamber as Marcus quickly assessed his options. He could try to fight his way out, but that would mean casualties and would play into the conspirators' narrative about violent humans. Or he could surrender and trust that his transmission had reached the right allies. As a soldier, his instinct was to fight. As a diplomat, he knew surrender might be the wiser choice. The evidence was sent. Now he needed to stay alive long enough for it to make a difference. Marcus raised his hands as guards surrounded the ventilation shaft. "I am Ambassador Marcus Chen of Earth," he announced formally. "I claim diplomatic immunity under Council law and demand to be taken directly to the Grand Arbiter." The 7 conspirators looked at each other in alarm. Their secret was out, and the human they had feared had been listening all along. The emergency session of the Galactic Council was the largest in recorded history. All 300 member species had sent representatives, and the Great Chamber was filled to capacity. Billions more watched through quantum-linked feeds across thousands of worlds. At the center of the chamber stood Marcus Chen, now free after 3 days of confinement. Across from him stood representatives of the 7 species accused of conspiracy against humanity. The strange precursor device they had been building was contained in a special field near the Grand Arbiter's position, its blue glow now dimmed. "This emergency session will now begin," announced the Grand Arbiter, its silvery form seeming more agitated than usual. The evidence before us is deeply troubling. 7 council species stand accused of conspiracy to commit genocide against humanity. The chamber hummed with tension as recordings from Marcus's infiltration played for all to see. The conspirators watched in silence as their own words condemned them. "These are serious charges," continued the Arbiter. "Not only did these representatives conspire to harm humans, but they did so based on a theory about human origins that has no scientific proof." The Voth scientist stepped forward. "We acted out of necessity. The evidence from ancient precursor sites shows clear genetic similarities between humans and precursor biological weapons. We sought only to protect the galaxy." "By planning genocide?" Marcus asked, his voice calm but firm. "By developing a weapon that would have affected every human across multiple star systems? That is not protection. That is fear overwhelming reason." The archivist representative, Tela Kavan, moved to the center of the chamber. "The Council has asked the archivists to verify these claims about human origins. We have examined the evidence these 7 species used to justify their actions." The chamber grew silent. The archivists rarely shared their ancient knowledge publicly. "The genetic similarities noted between humans and certain precursor artifacts are real," Kavan stated, causing murmurs through the chamber. "However, the conclusion drawn is fundamentally flawed. A holographic display appeared showing complex genetic sequences. These similarities appear not in weapon systems but in precursor medical technology. If the precursors interacted with early humans, it was more likely as healers or guides, not as weapon creators." Marcus felt a wave of relief. Earth scientists had always believed humans evolved naturally on Earth, but they had limited access to precursor artifacts for comparison. Now the galaxy's foremost experts on ancient civilizations were confirming that humans were not created as weapons. "What truly connects humans to the precursors," continued Kavan, "is not genetics, but adaptability. Like the precursors, humans transform themselves to meet challenges. They change roles, from warriors to diplomats to explorers, without losing their essential nature." The Grand Arbiter turned to the 7 accused species. "You acted on fear and incomplete information. You planned to destroy an entire species based on a theory. This violates the most fundamental principles of our council." Marcus stepped forward. "If I may speak?" The Arbiter nodded. "The accused feared what they didn't understand," Marcus said, looking around the chamber. "They saw a species that could fight when necessary but preferred to build and connect. They saw our rapid advancement and assumed domination was our goal because that would have been theirs." He walked slowly around the central platform, making eye contact with representatives from many different species. "Humanity doesn't want to rule the galaxy. We want to explore it, learn from it, and contribute to it. Ambassador Chen and Special Forces Commander Chen are the same person, just as humanity's capacity for conflict and cooperation are 2 sides of the same evolutionary adaptation." Marcus stopped beside the contained precursor device. "This weapon shows both the danger of fear and the importance of understanding. The accused took ancient technology they didn't fully comprehend and tried to use it against a species they misjudged. That is the path to destruction, not just for humans, but for all of us." The chamber was silent as his words sank in. Even some of the accused representatives seemed to be reconsidering their positions. After hours of testimony and deliberation, the council reached its decision. The Grand Arbiter's form glowed brightly as it announced the verdict. The 7 accused species will face sanctions for their actions. Their representatives on this conspiracy will be removed from office. The precursor device will be destroyed, and all research related to it will be placed under council supervision. The Arbiter paused before continuing. "However, in the spirit of the wisdom shown by Ambassador Chen, we will not expel these species from the council. Instead, they will work directly with human representatives to build understanding between their civilizations." Finally, the Arbiter turned to Marcus. "As for Earth and humanity, the council recognizes not only your full membership, but grants you special status as protected cultural assets of the galaxy. Your unique perspective and abilities are now recognized as valuable to all. For the first time in its 50,000-year history, the Council voted unanimously on a resolution, the cooperation protocol that would guide future interactions between humans and all other species. As Marcus formally accepted Earth's new status, messages flooded in from human colonies across 3 star systems. Videos showed people celebrating in the streets of cities on Earth, Mars, and the outer colonies. What had begun as an assassination attempt had led to humanity's recognition as valuable members of the galactic community. Later, in his private quarters, Marcus received a call from Admiral Helena Shaw. "Congratulations, Ambassador," she said, her usually stern face showing a rare, wide smile. "You've achieved more than we could have dreamed possible." "It wasn't just me," Marcus replied. "It was all of us. Our scientists, our colonists, even our military. The Council now sees that humans are complex just like they are. We can be warriors when needed and diplomats when possible." "What's next for Earth's famous fighting diplomat?" Helena asked. Marcus looked out at the stars. "We have a lot to learn from these older civilizations, and it seems they have things to learn from us too. I think my next mission will be building those connections, showing the galaxy what humanity truly is." "And what is that exactly?" Helena asked. Marcus smiled. "Adaptable, determined, peaceful when possible and fierce when necessary. Explorers and builders who never forget where we came from, but always look to where we're going next." As night fell over the Council world, Marcus Chen stood at the window of his diplomatic quarters, looking at the stars that were now more welcoming than ever before. The Galactic Council had assaulted the human diplomat. They didn't know he would transform their understanding of what humanity could become, and in doing so, he had opened the door for humanity's true journey among the stars to begin.